Hi, welcome to episode 17 of the DPF Doctor TV. This is our weekly roundup of what's been happening here at the DPF Doctor Network and to answer some of your questions. My name's Darren Darling. I'm the founder member of the DPF Doctor Network here at Energy Tuning based in Ashington. I'm also head of training and technical support for the network and global brand ambassador for JLM Lubricants. So, what's been happening this week at the DPF Doctor? I've been really busy this week with obviously DPF problems. So thought I'll give you a couple of good examples of jobs in recently and how we can help you if you're having recurring problems with your DPF. So as we've touched on many times before, the DPF is, if you've got a blocked DPF, the DPF is always caused by something else. It's always a symptom rather than the cause. Even if that means it's your driving style, that's a cause. So that's causing your DPF symptoms. So, if we sort of get your DPF back up and running properly for you, we would then sit down and talk you through how DPFs work and educate you on your driving style, fuel level, servicing, and all the things that are important to keep your DPF healthy. So, so even if it's driver error, that's still caused by a third party. So on the whole, when vehicles come to us, there's usually a fault. Sometimes it's not obvious. We regularly get vehicles coming in where there aren't any fault codes. A good example would be today, 65 reg, 70,000 mile Ford Transit, already been into a main agent, had various components replaced. The next step, the customer was told that they would fit a new DPF to see if that would fix the problem. So that was the next step. DPF was loaded a bit, not crazily, but the DPF did require cleaning to get it back into spec. But the most important thing was the underlying problem that it caused that had not been addressed. So we booked it in for our assessment, which we usually spend, normally around an hour to assess what's going on and then get a clear picture of where we go next. That's important because we want to fix your DPF problems and we don't want to see you coming back 2 or 3 days later or even 3 or 4 weeks later with the same problem. So, Ford Transit came in to us. The guy wanted a second opinion. He actually runs, they run quite a fleet of these vans. So, as it happened, we could clean the DPF, but more importantly, we identified the underlying problem that had been missed. The vehicle coming to us this morning, he's back on the road this afternoon, all using all genuine parts. There was a sensor we had to replace, and also had a coolant issue as well. So, all sorted, back on the road. But the important thing is we fixed the underlying problem. That's the key to our success. So many people are just looking solely at the DPF. That was the only thing that was throwing fault codes on that particular vehicle. So in this case, the quote that the customer had, we came in around £1,300 cheaper for our repair, but the more important thing is it's a fix, so that the vehicle's left here and it's fixed. So if you had a bad experience where taking vehicles into various places and you're going back round to where you started, then get in touch with one of our guys, one of our members of the network, which to find your nearest one, website's behind us, www.the-dpf-doctor.com. Look on there to find Jennifer, genuine bona fide member of our network. So if you're unsure if someone is part of us, check the website and you can get the details from there. So that was one example in our own workshop today. If you follow our Facebook pages, there's various different examples of that. Fitch Autos posted a good one up yesterday. Vehicle again had been in and out of main agent, and the DPF had actually been cleaned 5 times on that vehicle. So it went into the guys there. They understand how things work, so they get to the bottom of the problem. The car's now fixed, so that's the important thing. So there's been a lot of wasted money there. So get the job done right first time, and that's the key to success with it. So what else has been happening? Cracking training event at the weekend. It was good to see so many members of our network travel down to Nottingham for a cracking training event on Saturday, which was Auto Technicians' big day out. It was down at the MTech Academy down there. Cracking event. It was hosted. We had James Dillon, doesn't need any introduction, James Dillon. Also Andy Crook from Got Boost, great guy, very, very clever guys. So they were delivering training on some hybrid stuff, and also they had a non-start Audi common rail diesel in the workshop that was very interactive, everyone getting involved and stuff like that. And we also had a really interesting session by Pete Melville and Matt Cleveley about fully electric cars. So, you know, some people go fully electric and things like that. Now, this is the, you know, that's the sort of future, you know. So it was good for us learning a little bit about the hybrids and flux capacitors. How cool does that sound, you know, actually learning about things like that, you know. So, you know, it was, we all had a little giggle there with James Dillon talking about flux capacitors. Cool as anything, you know. So, so really, really interesting day. Clever guys, but it was good to see so many people from our own network there. There were 60-odd technicians there on the day. So, and a good, you know, a good number of our guys there that took the time out, gave up the weekend to travel there, long day, just to better themselves, you know, learn some new skills, and especially when you've got the quality of people delivering the training as, you know, them guys, you know. So really, really brilliant day out. We learnt a lot. We had, you know, we had some good fun, as we always do. It was very interesting, you know. But it was quite bizarre because the training day coming round and us starting to, you know, learn a little bit about hybrids and things like that, you know, that's very much the, you know, what's on the horizon in the future, you know. So this kind of brings me on to this week's question, and it's something that's been raised before, sometimes a little bit possibly disrespectfully, with me being a diesel specialist, quite often, you know, gets raised about the demise of diesels and stuff like that. So anyway, today I actually went to the local shop round the corner. I went into the corner shop, lovely lady in there serving this afternoon, and she's trying to guess, she's pointing at my t-shirt, so she's trying to guess what the DPF stands for. So I had a little, you know, I had a little bit of fun. She thought it was to do with drain pipes, you know. She's going drain pipe fixer, and she kept coming up with different scenarios for what DPF means. So eventually, when she gave up, the thing that prompted the discussion was, as soon as I mentioned diesel for, you know, diesel particle filter, she went, "Oh, so what are you going to do for a job?" I says, "And what do you mean by what am I going to do for a job?" She says, "Well, that diesels are dying out, and, you know, they're trying to get they are trying to get rid of diesels." So, but it's actually a valid point. I've had this from a fellow technician quite recently as well, where he said that, "What are you going to do for a job in 5 years?" Things aren't going to change that quickly. Diesel vehicles are here and now problem. We're industry leaders in sort of fixing DPF problems. That isn't going to change. So as the, you know, the sort of pool, as you like, shrinks a little bit with diesels, we will still be very much having a, you know, a large proportion of them DPF repairs. So at the moment, no, we're not worried at all. An interesting thing that cropped up on our training event of the weekend was some stats on age of vehicles. So the average vehicle age in the UK is 8 years old. So, you know, even in 5 years' time, if a new diesel vehicle was never sold, you know, you're still talking 13 years, 15 years, possibly 20 years down the line where we'll still be repairing DPF problems, albeit there will be a shift eventually, and there will be, you know, less of them on the road. That's, you know, goes out saying. You move towards, you know, a lot of new diesels being sold now are a hybrid. A lot of new petrols, you know, a lot of people are looking at petrol hybrids now, and that's the short-term future, you know. So as people shift away from combustion engines or completely being combustion only, and the move to hybrids, then that's something that we're learning about at the moment, you know, and we're always looking at the future. But in the short term, the diesel problems are here and now. We're overrun with problems with DPFs, and that's not going to go away overnight. The next problem we are facing is GPFs, and some of you will have seen that we announced there that we have a product in place to clean GPFs, which are the petrol counterpart, you know, so gasoline particle filters. So they are on most new petrol vehicles from this year. So as the shift comes away from diesel, it won't happen as quickly as people reading the papers. I'm not overly concerned about that. But our next training event, which is in 3 weeks' time, is actually going to be our first training event that is actually going to involve a GPF-equipped vehicle. So we have a new VW there for our next training day. So we'll be yes, the bulk of it will be on diesels, like what we cover now, but we'll be having 2 to 3 hour session on petrol particle filters, GPFs. So that's tomorrow's problem. Diesel's today's problem. Tomorrow's problem is GPFs. We'll be ready for them, so we're learning about them. That's the key to everything. As technology changes, you've got to change with it. You've got to invest your time in building your knowledge and being ready for these new problems. So that's something that we'll move on to. And if I'm unlucky enough still to be working when I'm 70-year-old and everything's electric, then not a problem, because we'll be fully trained for that, because that's in our plan for the next few years. So we're building a strong network of high quality technicians that will evolve. So we'll move into GPF repairs, and guys will retrain further down the line, and we'll be ready. Some of our guys this week are on hybrid and electric training. So Steve Gittins from H&Y, I know he's on a 5-day boot camp this week with James Dillon, so he'll come away level 4 trained on hybrid and electric vehicles, which there are only a handful at the moment of people in the UK with that qualification. So all of our guys are forward thinking and will move with the times. So glad the lady in the shop asked that, because some people think it, and the top and bottom of it is, if diesel vehicles stopped being sold tomorrow, we'll move with the times. We'll always be specialists, and we'll move as technology moves. We'll move with it. So I'm pleased to ask that. We had a little bit of banter about what the letters meant and stuff like that, which you've got to have a little bit of banter in your daily life, otherwise things would be boring. So good question. We'll always welcome them. So anything you'd like to ask us, just send us a message, PM us or email us or something like that, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. So episode 17, that's it, out the way. So it seems like the numbers are rattling up, doing this every week. So we look forward to seeing you back here next week for episode 18. So thanks for watching.